Hey, this is Lex from What the Craft, and today I'm going to show you how to make a no-sew tie-back halter top. No-sew means we don't need our sewing machine, so throw them out the window. Step 1, grab a t-shirt. Although really, you could do this with some stretch knit fabric if you wanted to. This is going to work best on a t-shirt that's just a little bit too big on you. And what we want to do is just make sure we have all the creases and folds out of the shirt and we have it laying nice and flat with the sides nice and evened up. Now I'm going to take my chalk and starting right at the armpit, I want a nice curved line that goes up to the shoulder seam, about 2 inches from the collar seam. And then I'll just repeat that on the other side, trying to keep things as symmetrical as possible. And I really should have measured first because I'm not really 2 inches from the collar seam, so I'm going to fix that up here. And I want a scoop neck, so I'm going to draw that in, just going low enough that I don't cut into the graphic. If you want a higher neckline, you can just cut off the old collar and go from there. Now we're going to flip her over, and I'm going to mark 2 inches down from the collar seam, and then 2 inches down from that again. And then making note of where my lines are on the front side, I'm going to connect these to the back. These are going to wind up being our halter straps, so as you can see, one's going to have to take the high road and one's going to take the low road. It does not matter which one. We just want them to be roughly the same length and for the ends to taper off into a point. Now we'll mark out the back ties, and you're going to go from one armpit to the other, fairly straight line across. It does not have to be perfect. From the armpit down, I want my shirt to be about 12 inches long. If you want to go shorter than that, expose a little belly button, knock yourself out. If you want to go longer than that, I wouldn't go longer than about 14 inches. So I've got 12 inches. If I go with 2-inch ties, that gives me 6 ties. So I'm just going to mark that out. And if you want less ties or you want to do wider ties, you can go for that. I could do 4 3-inch ties or 3 4-inch ties. Feel free to experiment. So now we're going to find the center of the back and mark a line down there. And then I want all these ties to have points like I did with my halter ties. So I'm just going to draw a zigzag line that crosses that center line like this. And now we're ready to start cutting. So I'm going to cut through those zigzags first. And then I'm going to cut across the strap lines. And I'm going to stop when I hit the side of the shirt. And we're going to repeat all the way down. And then we're going to do the other side the same way. And then I'm going to trim off the bottom hem of the shirt. Once we finish cutting all our straps, we're going to go back to the front. And starting at the armpit, we're going to cut along that curved line we traced. And you want to make sure you're cutting only through the top layer of the fabric. You do not want to be cutting through the back right now. So go ahead and get both sides cut out, and then we'll move along to the neckline. And this is the same deal as before. Make sure you're cutting just the top layer, don't cut through the back. And you're going to stop cutting as soon as you hit the shoulder seam. So now if we flip it over, we just have these last few lines to connect up to where we started cutting on the front. So we'll start cutting around the collar line first. And just keep following your lines, and soon you'll have the first halter strap cut out. And then you can do the last halter strap, and then we're done. Or almost done at least. Now you can lay everything out flat and see if anything needs trimming or evening up, like right here. And then the cool thing about the back ties is that when you give them a little stretch, like so, they kind of roll up on themselves and almost give kind of a finished edge look to it. So you almost can't tell that there are raw edges back here. So since we cut right through the shoulder seams, they can unravel a little bit. So you can either take your sewing machine and backstitch over those edges, or you can use a drop of fabric glue or fray check. And last but not least, it might be fairly obvious how to put it on, but I think it's easiest to tie the halter straps first, and then you start tying the back ties, starting at the top and working your way down. And it is admittedly quite a bit easier if you have somebody else help you with this. That's it, you're ready to rock. For more tips, tricks, and kick-ass sewing patterns, visit whatthecraft.com.